Hi, I'm Mr.E. When Alanis Morissette wrote her song Ironic, she claimed it was ironic to find a black fly in her Chardonnay. Well, I'm sorry, Alanis, but no, that's not ironic at all. That's just bad luck. Irony has two definitions. The first is saying something the opposite to what you really mean. The second is when something someone says or does takes on a deeper significance. And then we've got to consider what irony means in terms of literature and language. So let's have a look at irony in a little bit more detail. We'll be looking at three types of irony: irony in everyday speech, irony of situation, and the one we're really interested in, dramatic or literary irony. We can often detect irony in everyday speech in terms of the nuance, that is, the way somebody says something. Let's take the following question. We could say this in two ways. Well, that's really great, isn't it? Which sounds very honest. Or, well, that's really great, isn't it? If we say it that second way, we refer to it as sarcasm. You mean the opposite to what you're actually saying. This can also be more subtle in everyday speech. Take the following statement. What you're saying there is, don't waste time or don't take your time, but it's usually said when you mean the opposite, when somebody's being very blunt and straightforward. So that is a form of irony as well. You can also find irony in non-fiction. So here's an example. Now this could be taken at face value, but more often than not, the opposite would be the case. The person wasn't actually prepared at all, and again was being ironic. There are also situations which are ironic. Let's just say that this man wanted to save some money, so what he decided to do was to cancel his house insurance. The very next day after he cancelled his house insurance, his house caught on fire and burnt to the ground. This would be an ironic situation. Yes, it is bad luck, but it's also ironic because the two events happen so closely together. We find dramatic and literary irony in fiction and non-fiction. It can be the situation which is ironic, or again, it can be something which somebody says which is ironic. So let's have a look at an example of dramatic irony with a situation. In the play Macbeth, King Duncan wants to award Macbeth for being brave in battle. Now, when the Thane of Cawdor, one of the Scottish lords, turns out to be a traitor, Duncan executes Cawdor and gives his title Thane of Cawdor to Macbeth. Now, this is an ironic situation because Macbeth also turns out to be a traitor. Characters in literature can also say things where they're clearly not aware of the deeper significance of what they're saying. An example of this is in An Inspector Calls by J.B. Priestley. Arthur Burling at the start of the play declares that it's one of the happiest nights of my life. It turns out to be the very opposite of this as the play unfolds. So there we have it. Irony is all about saying the opposite to what you actually mean, or saying or doing something that the audience or reader realizes has a deeper significance at the time.
See you next time for more great English hacks.